Welcome back to the S78 SHL Entry Draft. We're going to start from the top so you can hear all our lovely voices and get our thoughts and opinions on the draft picks. And get to celebrate the momentous occasion in your SHL careers of getting drafted and the work you've put in so far. I'm going to be hosting with everyone's favorite Minnesota
Welcome
general
back
manager,
to the S78
Eddie.
SHL Entry
Eddie, if you
Draft.
want to
We're going to
say a
start
few
from the
words.
top so you can
Yeah,
hear
it's
all our lovely voices and get
good to be
our
here for the first
thoughts
time,
and
and
opinions on the
we really
draft
appreciate
picks.
you
And,
coming out here to
get to
share
celebrate
this
the momentous occasion in
incredible
your
experience because
SHL careers of getting drafted.
it's
And
no bigger day um, in the life of your SHL career for you to be around here, being able to see live as you get drafted, and then going through the experience. It's a wonderful time for us GMs and also for you, the players, because that's what it's all about.
so we're going to dive right into the SHL Entry Draft, and we're going to lead it off with a fun, exciting draft trade to start the day. We are going to have a trade addict GM, the Edmonton Blizzard, making a trade with the Montreal Patriots. Sorry, I can't see if your thing is ready here. Yeah, so it's the Edmonton Blizzard are going to get the first overall selection, the season 78 draft, and sent to Montreal will be the Edmonton Blizzard season 79 first round selection, as well as the first round selection from Buffalo in season 82. So that's first overall in this draft to Edmonton for first next season Edmonton Blizzard and 82 Stampede first, meaning Edmonton is now on the clock with 4 consecutive selections.
That will make it two straight drafts now for this one and the next one, season 79, where they won't have their first round pick at Montreal will. So it'll be very interesting to see how these next two seasons go for them. Obviously, their rebuild has gotten a major jolt over these past few years. They've been able to bring in some great players. So they definitely feel bold enough to make these moves, and that's good for them.
Yeah, and likewise, this will bring the Blizzard on the clock at pick 1, and they will be selecting the user Mateo, the player Cristoforo Rocca Montepiano. That name isn't at all a tongue twister, and I don't hate you for making it. Little about them: they are probably, without question, the greatest SHL goalie in SHL history. So 78 seasons of the league going, and they're probably unanimous number one if you had a conversation about it. They're a wonderful person, very easy to talk to, very friendly. I don't think I've ever had heard someone say a bad word about Mateo. He's really easygoing, and he's going to be a great veteran presence for some of the new gens we have, and be a core on that in the the middle pivot position moving forward.
Yeah, a really impressive 20-goal season in Quebec and a great playoffs. And he likely needs some stick checking work to improve those face-off skills. But other than that, had an incredible season, and obviously is going to be a huge impact for Quebec moving forward, and obviously for Edmonton.
This will, however, bring us to the second pick on the clock, and it is I don't know what team is that again? The Edmonton Blizzard?
I believe so.
Oh wow, shocking. Yeah, the first of this will be the second of 4 selections by the Blizzard, and they will be dipping into uh, multiple different J teams with these selections. But sorry, I'm just waiting for you to be ready here, so I'm just talking a bit. Uh, they have loaded up quite heavily in this draft. They have 5 first round picks and the first pick of the second round. So lots of talent will be joining the Blizzard on this day. I believe 14 or 13 of the first round picks are owned by 3 teams in this draft, which is kind of ludicrous. It's Winnipeg, Buffalo, and Edmonton. So just I don't think I've seen it to this degree before, but it's ridiculous how concentrated it is between several teams.
Yeah. It's a good day to be a fan of those 3 teams. Get to see a lot of new players. And it'll be good for them because they'll be selling a lot of jerseys over the next few days.
Yeah, and jersey sales are important, of course, as so is your advertising money. The way you can add your advertising money is to check out the charity drive and make some bids, some donations to some excellent charities, as well as get some pretty neat stuff. It should be under M for this player name. Yeah, right there. Perfect. All right, and at second overall, the Edmonton Blizzard are selecting the user Euro Hero, the player Matthias, coming from the St. Louis Scarecrows. He's a defenseman, premium position. You'll see every SHL team lamenting the lack of defense. But this draft, and it looks like next draft, are having a resurgence in the amount of people who are willing to play that position. Uh, Coming in with the bank's a little low, but they've already bought coaching this season. They've got some money coming in from some teamwork done as well. They're a massive nerd, very friendly person, very accepting and open, just a kind person. Some excellent cooking tips on their end as well. They make some really good food from what I've seen so far, and very excited to bring Matthias into the Blizzard.
Yeah, that player, he played some big minutes this season for St. Louis, showed he's got some really good proficiency in his own zone. And what really stood out to me, of course, is his incredible 69 block shots.
But yeah, that will be the second overall selection by the Blizzard, and bring up the third overall pick. Um, and it will be coming from the championship Vancouver Whalers, Galton Waggins, the user Conjure Bones. You could almost Control C, Control V. What I said about Matthias about for Bones. However, I don't know about the food takes. They did position swap from goalie to defense, so they are actually a defender at this point. But an excellent person. Again, a huge nerd, very friendly. Both of the past two picks are very close with a lot of people in our war room. So bringing them in and having the friends to push each other and help each other get to great TP and money levels to keep the consistent earning is a big key there. And we're looking forward to what it's going to do on that blue line, bringing in two top tier defenders.
Yeah. Beyond that position change, he had a great year in Vancouver. Obviously, a big part of their Four-Star Cup championship win. Congrats to them, obviously. So should be interesting to see how those skills translate. Obviously, he's still going to play a major part in their attempt to run it back.
And this will bring the last of four selections. Certainly not least, though. The order didn't really matter, although I made sure Mateo could get his card because honestly, he deserves it for his last player and all the work he's put in. But just excellent users being selected all around here for my money. But it will be Spaceman Spiff, the user of Rain, coming from the Ottawa Highlanders, helping to propel them to the S78 Challenge Cup Finals, although falling short to the Whalers. Spiff has been a dynamo of a user, an excellent first gen, bringing in great first gen energy. He's a weird, eclectic guy. I really like my scouting conversation with him. I think he'll fit in with a lot of the people we have here. And he's a user we targeted early and really wanted to make sure we could do what we could to bring him in, and we're ecstatic to be able to have the opportunity to.
Yeah, he had a big offensive footprint this season, a solid blocking presence. He's definitely going to be one of those players for Ottawa, looking to play a big role in a team that looks good enough to get back to the final, honestly.
And this will bring the first non-Edmonton pick on the clock. It'll be the Winnipeg Aurora. Ace and Bytor are now going to a reset period for the Aurora, moving on from franchise stalwarts Leg, Elias Ekholm Gunnarsson, as well as Miko Rashford, two longtime Winnipeg Auroras who had phenomenal careers, honestly. Great people as well. So moving on from them is going to It's going to be a bit hard, but they've got some excellent talent already in the roster that's pretty young, uh, namely Jax as well as Pyro out there killing it. And they've got some great picks coming up, not just in this draft, but future ones to help propel them forward. But at 5, the Aurora will be selecting Vili Satomaki, the user Dexteria from the Vancouver Whalers. An excellent member of the Vancouver Whalers front office this season. He did a lot of the FHM stuff to help Shawnee out on that end. He's a great person, incredibly friendly, very easy to talk to, and a really fun guy. He's going to be a great pick for Winnipeg as one of the key members of their reset rebuild. And yeah, Ace is going to be ecstatic to be able to pull in Dex here.
Yeah, and that player, highest earning so far of this draft class, and really impressive showing in the playoffs. And he's not a shooting two-way forward, but times will show whether that changes or not. But yet again, really solid performance this season.
And with their 6th overall pick, they will be delving into the world of Dark Souls, taking Solaire of Astora, the Sun God, Knight of the Sun God. If you haven't played Dark Souls, highly recommend it if you don't mind dying all the time. But Muford is the user. He's a long-time Stimly user, not just in the SHL, but the ISFL as well. He's probably done PBE. He puts in a lot of effort, a lot of work. Maybe not looking to go that hard, is it? Because it's so long for him. But he's still going to be an excellent member of the locker room, going to earn at a fantastic rate and be a stalwart defender for the Aurora for seasons to come.
Yeah, filled in a big way on the blue line for them. Probably needs to fill out some of those offensive instincts, but if he can get that, he'll be a critical piece in Great Falls' quest for an Elden Ring. But
And this will bring us to the 7th overall pick. The Hamilton Steelhawks will be selecting longtime general manager Halsey will be making the pick. He's been around for what feels like forever, but he'll be manning the head here. Yeah, Hamilton's a weird team. They've had spurts of doing quite well in the past like 10 or 15 seasons. Never really much of a Challenge Cup contender, but they've been solid. Never too low, never too high. Seeing them at 7, I think it's about as high as I've seen them draft in a while. And they're hoping to maximize the season they had by making the best of this pick for sure. And the Hamilton Steelhawks will be selecting Elliot Alderson, the user OVOXO. I know it's your bachelor party, so congratulations. I hope you're enjoying and not watching the stream, hanging out with your friends. But yeah, he's a really friendly guy. He joined the SHL dev team recently, so he'll have some money coming in. It's going to be a great pick for Hamilton. Again, defender, so a premium position. The TP earning as well. Excited to see how his SHL career progresses.
yeah, he had a really impressive season with Detroit. 153 blocks, 93 hits. What's very interesting, he had a game-winning goal to boot. So despite being really locked in on the defense, he also has the ability to get the puck in the net when it matters.
And this will bring us to the first pick of the new Buffalo GM's tenure. Vandy will be on the clock. Vandy's a fantastic guy, jumping into a new role. He'll have Thomas as co-GM, so lots of experience backing him up. But he's here to make his mark. He's got a bunch of picks this draft. Very excited for it to help replenish that locker room. And I'm excited to see what he's going to do with it. And at pick 8, the Buffalo Stampede will be selecting Elena Berensky. I believe that name was right. But the user Mongoose87, they'll be heading to the Buffalo Stampede. Really friendly person. TP earning as well. The bank's very solid. I know Eddie, you in particular, had an excellent scouting conversation with them, which you shared with us. It's all pretty fun. But it's going to be a great pick for Buffalo. A great way to start the new incoming individuals, the rebuild per se. And I think Vanny's got to be really excited about bringing in Mongoose. And yeah, I love the pick for him.
Yeah, a lot of general managers really impressed by what she's been able to show. And as for the player, 109 hits and a really solid performance for an undersized forward. Shooting obviously will be the make or break, but beyond that, just a really solid season and something to build on. And Anchorage definitely as a winner, and Buffalo certainly a future winner for that team.
And this will bring us back to the Edmonton Blizzard on the clock at pick 9. Um, yeah, it's been a quick draft so far. Some great users taken. Uh, mostly controlled by 2 teams as of yet, but there will be plenty of other teams selecting as we go. And yeah, the pick at 9 will be Ivan Godinez, the user Van Drewski, a defenseman hailing from the Kelowna Knights. Again, another great person, another really big nerd. He's a old school MMO guy. He plays Lord of the Rings online still, so that's how you know he's old as dirt. Yeah, he's a really friendly guy. I believe he's European, so he's got a little eclectic vibe to him as well. But a defenseman or a premium position. He was the first overall picked in the J draft, and yeah, Edmonton, I know for sure is excited to bring him in and help round out that defense core. So real excited to have Ivan on the roster.
Yeah, had a really solid conversation with him as well. Seems like a great guy for the locker room, and well, of course, for his season, obviously had a really solid impact for his time on ice. Really good Corsi 4 percentage, and contributed a lot on the offense, which is definitely what Kelowna was looking for when they drafted him. And again, it's the sky's the limit for players like this. So all good luck to you in Kelowna, and of course, eventually Edmonton.
Yeah, this will bring us to pick 10 on the clock. It's the Winnipeg Aurora again, as if you're not all tired of hearing the same teams over and over again. But we don't care. We're going to keep picking. And they're going to select from the Newfoundland Berserkers. They're going to take Jet Labyrinth. Fantastic name. The user Magenta, center from the Berserkers. Honestly, a really great person. I hate their Discord profile picture. I asked them, like, if we draft you, is there any chance you would change it for me? But outside of that, they were a wonderful person. Really easy to talk to, earning really well. I think they're gonna have a fantastic career in Winnipeg, and Winnipeg's got to be real excited to bring them in. It's the pivot position in FHM seems to be the most key. So having a good another good center to bring in on the roster is going to be fantastic for the Aurora.
Yeah, absolutely. And the first Newfoundland Berserker off the board, obviously, had a really solid shooting percentage in his first season, a really healthy takeaway giveaway percentage. So he'll look to be a really solid centerman for Newfoundland moving forward. And Winnipeg definitely got themselves a really solid center in this pick.
And this will bring us to pick 11 with the Tampa Bay Barracuda on the clock. I made fun of Dwight a little bit for today. Dwight's notorious for scouting at the last minute. Likes to have the board shake out and then see who he wants to reach out to once the full picture's painted. But I brought it to Dwight. I'm like, oh, it's scouting day, and he's like, you got it. But yeah, he's a fun guy. People end up in Tampa are gonna have a great time being able to spend time with him. And we're gonna see who's the lucky pick 11 heading to the definitely not eyesore purple and teal Tampa Bay Barracuda. And they will be taking the player Zeus Storm, the user Stamkos, it's my dad. I guess if your dad, he just entered FA, you got a big contract, he might have given it to you to put some in your SHL bank. But new teams for both of you this season, so that's pretty exciting. But there are Recreate coming back. Lots of energy. Should be a good pick for Tampa Bay. Is they generally scout well. Like they often have different boards than most teams, but their team always looks pretty good. They've got some excellent TP users, and I have full faith in DK to build a great team. So I think it's gonna be a great pick.
Absolutely, and an extremely solid player, so close in that season to a point per game, and he'll look to be an elite scorer if the crazy 17.8% shooting percentage holds up throughout his career. If that does hold up, he'll look to be an incredible player for Colorado. And if not, he still looks to be a really solid scorer for them.
And this will bring us to pick 12 on the clock. And that will be back-to-back Buffalo Stampede at 12 and 13. Again, Vandy loading up on picks this draft, making his mark on the Stampede. Excited to see who he's going to go with here. But we should recognize a long era of Toman in Buffalo ending. He was a wonderful GM for many seasons, likely a Hall of Famer once he's eligible. Won several Challenge Cups, had a competitive team for basically every season he was around. People loved playing for him. And, it's going to be a hard role to fill, and he's going to be missed.
Absolutely. Really solid person, and a really solid season this year. 7th in the league standings, and really critical for that team moving forward.
However, at the 12th pick, they will be taking Easton Schaefer, the user Matty Ice, the right winger. Will be heading to the Buffalo Stampede. He's got an excellent bank account. He's a really friendly person. Habs fans, he's good at. He's going to make a good player. Just a good overall person. But yeah, he's really friendly to talk to. And Buffalo's going to be a great fit for him. I know Vandy was like really excited about bringing this player in, so I'm really excited to see about their future in Buffalo.
Absolutely, a great season for Ottawa. Played a big power play role and logged key minutes for that team. Obviously, with where they went, they're extremely excited with what they're going to get. Both Ottawa and Buffalo looking for big contributions in his second season.
And at pick 13, one second, just bear with us. But pick 13, the first goalie will be selected. It'll be the user Frost, 39, the player Gino Forteza. Coming off the last player that when they headed into their draft, they were very heralded. A very excellent user coming in. Kind of trailed off a bit as some life events occurred on their end. And have come back excited to make a goalie. Heading to the Stampede as part of this youth resurgence Vandy's putting together. And should be a solid pick for him. Excited to see how Frost and Frost and Buffalo go together hand in hand if you talk about the weather, but should be a great fit for what they're building there.
Absolutely, a .89 save percentage and a healthy amount of games. He played big for Kelowna and looks to be the future of that team in net. And obviously, Buffalo liked what they saw and a really great performance moving forward. Definitely pin him into your plans if you're Buffalo as a starting goalie of the future, possibly.
And this will bring us to pick 14 on the clock. 15. It is 14. The Minnesota Monarchs will be selecting. And who knows what that GM's thinking over there out in Minnesota.
Certainly a lot of intriguing options, though that GM has been known to come off the board on occasion to just pick whoever he feels is the right choice. So it'll be interesting to see what they go for here.
And the Monarchs will be selecting the user Blast Me Away, the player Crow King. Excellent user, very friendly and easy to talk to. Has a great bank built up. Has been in the SHL for a long time, and their players have generally been really excellent. So this is a nice pick to add to some youth movement for Minnesota as some of their players age out and retire, getting to back to a state of competitiveness after an excellent season this season.
Yeah, Crow King, another really great tack pick here for Colorado, and he balled out in this season. He had nearly a point per game as well, and really solid offensive performances this season. So Minnesota definitely looking for some more options on offense with some players aging away. So looks like it's right within their plan.
And let's bring stop me if you've heard this, the Buffalo Stampede on the clock. Their third selection and 4 picks. Vandy cooked something up this offseason. He was having a time getting his plans laid, and excited to see where he's going with this direction. But the Buffalo Stampede will be selecting John Garfield, the user LMAO, also known as Twix on Discord. Just a real funny guy, a real friendly guy. I love the fact that his render is John Garfield. We talked a bit about Garfield in his scouting conversation. He's really easy to talk to. He's really motivated to come back and earn this time. And I'm excited to see their future with Buffalo as it progresses. I think it's gonna be a really good fit. They've got an excellent group of people coming in there. It should be really fun to talk to as they grow their rebuild.
Yeah, just a really great user and a really solid player at a great season there for Regina, and he'll definitely look good next year with those with that new rebrand that they're cooking up in Regina.
And at pick 16, the Winnipeg Aurora will be on the clock. The Aurora again in that big reset period, moving on from the franchise stalwarts, but Ace is one of the GMs you can definitely trust to come out of it with some excellent picks and a great conjugate of individuals moving forward. And they'll be delving into the pool in St. Louis, selecting Ozzy Bradford, the user Otis Boudreau. An excellent user, very smart, lots of history knowledge if you like that. His last player was really hyped and heralded. He had some life events come up that were unfortunately out of his control, so he had to step away. But he's back, and he's going to be a wonderful pick for the Aurora. A great defender, and they've got to be really excited to get him at 16 here. It's a really good pick for him.
Absolutely, just really key role for St. Louis, and obviously that locker room is known as a really good one. So Winnipeg or getting another really, or Tampa Bay getting a really solid player.
This is Winnipeg.
It is? Okay.
Yeah. This will bring the Barracuda back on the clock at pick 17. And they will be selecting Valtteri Pulkkinen, the user Deng. Yeah, Deng is a guy who likes to get his stuff done. He's not the most talkative, but he earns TP like a monster. He looks like a really solid pick, fits the Tampa Bay MO of being an excellent player. And I think DK is going to be really excited to bring in a player of this caliber at this point of the draft. Should be a great pick for Tampa. Excited to see what they're cooking over in Florida.
Yeah, he really great offensive showing for him, and just a solid two-way player with that 56.1 Corsi for. Obviously, had a really good earning season, and they'll look to keep it up. Tampa Bay, another really solid get in this draft.
And at pick 18, the Philadelphia Forge will be in the clock. The Forger team that are year in and year out a contender. They've been for a long time an excellent cycling of users with some new gens coming in to bring that fresh blood in, and they look fantastic every single year and almost always hit on their first round selections. They might be picking late, but that doesn't mean they can't make them count, and they will as well this year. Selecting Leo Finnegan, the user Grey Goose Vodka from the Newfoundland Berserkers. Grey Goose is he's not the most talkative user, but he is a Habs fan. He was really excited with this player. He's looking to make like a Nicholas Lidstrom kind of vibe. Definitely wants to make sure he's at least a top four defender. And it's going to be a coup for Philadelphia if they get that out of him. And I think it's going to be a really solid pick.
Yeah, the second Newfoundlander off the board, really solid season for that team, and obviously something to grow on. These players playing key roles. Definitely look for bigger things from Leo, especially in Newfoundland, and that's definitely what Philadelphia is going to be looking for.
And just for you, Jove, I know you were you were missing the Edmonton picks, so we'll bring it back. We'll have Edmonton on the clock at pick 19. The Blizzard they heard your cries for wanting to see some more players added, and we'll be fulfilling your wish just for you. And they were selecting from the Newfoundland Berserkers as well. Weston Windsor, the user Elegian. Ellie's a really friendly guy. A lot of the people in our war room had great conversations with him. He's really easy to talk to. If you can get him earning and keep it going, he's going to be an amazing pick. He swapped to defense, which is a fantastic position before the draft. Again, an indie position, and we're really excited to bring him to the locker room, get him to talk with our new gens, and hopefully get him to progress to a top four D role and make a great player and have some fun.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how he adopts his player, changes it up, because he had a really solid producing season for Newfoundland on the forward line. So as he shifts to defense, it'll be interesting to see whether that part of his game goes away or if it just boosts how he plays on the defensive side.
But this will bring pick 20 on the clock. The last pick of the first round will be the New England Wolfpack selecting.
Oh. That's a team we haven't heard from before in this draft. Very interesting.
Yeah, they did win the Challenge Cup, so shout out to New England for their Challenge Cup victory. Luke is celebrating, I think it's his second or third Challenge Cup, so fantastic to him. But yeah, we'll be bringing his selection in. It'll be Maverick Reynolds. Sharks is back. Excellent user, very friendly, easy to talk to, earning TP really well with a massive bank at 96 million. A lot of the users in this draft do not have massive banks, so seeing the giant bank of Reynolds as a defenseman going in the very end of the first round is definitely a good sign for the Wolfpacks.
Yeah, New England definitely snagged a really solid player here in this draft. He really played well in a key role, and it's certainly something New England is looking for as they sort of shift their roster around some additions in this season. And again, someone who posts that much time as in their rookie year and produces that much is certainly going to be an addition in the future.
And we're going to take a little break for the second round, just so we don't burn out and go crazy. And yeah, if anyone has any questions or complaints, they can send it to Hovera on Discord. You can find them.
Yeah, we'll take this time again to just say that if you do have any money to spare, or you are indeed the son of Steven Stamkos, be sure to reach out and bid for some of the stuff on the SHL open auction.
Just let me know when you're good, Roast.
And we are back.
Excellent.
If you're just joining us, welcome to the second round of the Season 78 SHL Entry Draft.
Yeah, we will have the second round beginning with Edmonton on the clock at 21. And they will be selecting from the Quebec City Citadels. It'll be Fluber Wooster Dinge, the player Andrea Morandi, heading to the Edmonton Blizzard. And a great fan of people in the war room. Just for my money, like the best person to scout in this draft. If the money and earning wasn't an issue, would have been a top 5, top 10 pick without question. Bit of a gamble when you're working with that kind of money. But I'm a believer in them. I think they're going to do great. And I again really loved the scouting conversation we had, and very excited to bring them into Edmonton.
Yeah. And as for the player, obviously, she had a really incredible season, 52 Corsi 4, and of course, 42 points. Really solid for that amount of ice time, and definitely going to be playing a key role for Quebec moving forward. I think every team saw what Edmonton saw in them, and good pick by them.
And this will bring us to pick 22 with the Montreal Patriots on the clock. Fun fact: these were actually traded for each other. The Montreal pick went to Edmonton in exchange for their GM player, who was a rental in season 70. I want to say 4 or something. And in return, when Edmonton acquired the Montreal GM and a rental pick, they sent their second in the same season. So it's been a swap of GM players and second round picks in the same draft, ending up right beside each other. But the Montreal Patriots will be selecting Clarence Worley, the user Leobin. They'll be heading to the Patriots. Longtime user with a great history of some players. The last player might have been a little bit of a letdown, but hopefully they can come in with some fresh legs this time and join a Montreal team who's stacked to the brim with talent and be a big part of that. Hopefully, some cup contending periods coming forward.
Absolutely. They certainly have the bank to make a big impact moving forward. 306 TP obviously puts them at ahead of a lot of their class. And as for the player itself, really solid season to build on for the Ottawa. They're definitely happy with what they got out of 19th overall for them. And obviously it'll be 22nd overall for Montreal. They're certainly just as happy.
And pick 23 will be the clock. It'll be the Seattle Argonauts picking their first selection this draft. They traded their first round pick this draft to acquire Simo Jaskalainen. Simo was acquired from Edmonton from Minnesota. So he's had a couple moves in the past couple seasons, but he's fitting in with a team that fits his timeline really well. And is a defender who's earning really well at a premium position. So Seattle's going to be excited to bring him in, if not getting a pick in this draft. But they will also be taking a defender, delving into the Yukon Malamutes' first pick this draft. It'll be the user Jackie Sosa, the player Isamu Knievel. He is a very motivated person. He likes to do some like graphics editing using NHL as a base. Talkative. If you can keep on top of him and keep the earning going, he's going to be an excellent pick. He's a really great guy. I think Jackie's going to be a gem for Seattle, and I'm excited to see how it goes forward there.
Absolutely. Really solid contributions from him in their first season. It'll be key for them if they keep earning, but also it'll be good for Yukon if they can continue to develop him because he really had a season to build on.
And at pick 24, the Hamilton Steelhawks will be selecting from Switzerland by way of the San Diego title. It'll be Walter Schleby, the user Segi, former player mentor head, former Swiss Federation head. Segi's a really friendly guy, knowledgeable, really calm and patient. He's making a goalie. I bugged him to recreate this draft, and they made a goalie and it broke my heart. So he's a little dead to me, but it is what it is. I think he's gonna be a great fit moving forward with them. He's a great guy, gem of a player. I do believe they traded up to get this pick, which we didn't highlight. However, I will check to make sure. But yeah, this will be the Minnesota Monarchs. Was it the Monarchs or was it? Am I wrong? Was there no trade?
It was Manhattan, yes.
Yeah,
Though,
Manhattan made a trade with Hamilton to get 24, and it'll be Hamilton taking Schleby at 24.
right.
They
So
will
he's
be
a
taking
longtime Monarch, and I couldn't agree more that he's a great user, a great person to talk to, and a mentor of mine. So
And at 25, we will have, apologies, the Calgary Dragons selecting with their first pick of the draft. Calgary recently, they put a bevy of selections on the board to be able to round out the roster. So they might not have many first round picks in the next couple seasons, but they've got their core moving forward that they feel confident in with some excellent users. And they're looking forward to adding some talent in the second round of this draft and progressing that core as it moves forward. And it looks fantastic with what they're working with there.
absolutely, especially the great addition of the two Solberg pairing, obviously for you and Sonia.
One of them's okay, the other's garbage. I'm just kidding. But yeah, definitely those two are great users who help propel the Dragons. I mean, but you got to throw in like B Fine. They got Phalanx. They got other people I can't think of off the top of my head. Spartan's there. Spartan's great. And Boom and Possum are there running the team. But they'll be taking Jeffrey Bjelland, the user. Apologies, BJK man. We just got a conversation with them. They're a pretty friendly guy. A little lower key. I believe they were on vacation when we started scouting, and then come back. They went to like a bit in Europe and the UK. Went to that really long Welsh town name that no one can pronounce. But yeah, a really friendly guy. It's going to be a great fit for Calgary, and what's a great organization and shaping up to be an excellent squad moving forward.
Yeah, really solid earner for Detroit, and obviously had a really key season for them moving forward. 11 goals, 26 assists, and obviously playing big time on ice for a rookie centerman. And it'd be interesting to see what he turns into, and obviously, so are the Dragons.
But at pick 26, the Toronto North Stars will be selecting. This is the first pick of McLovin's, McGriddle's, apologies, tenure as the head GM, with Wally being retained as the co-GM. I don't know how much will change. Might be status quo. Might be a bit more McGridfluence. But I'm excited to see what the team does move forward, as Toronto's been a great organization, and hopefully will be contending for a cup soon. But they will be selecting Leighton Oligny, the user Stad Kona. They will be coming from the Carolina Kraken. I didn't get a chance to scout this user. I did try to add them on Discord, but didn't get a read on them as I never got to connect, so I can't say too much about them. But their TP is excellent, and I'm sure Wally and McGrid's got some good information on them, and there should be a great fit.
Yeah, I personally had a great conversation with them. Leighton Oligny, really solid season for the Carolina Kraken, 19 goals, 24 assists, and obviously has a really solid track record for earning and a good bank. So really a prospect in the second round that you definitely want to look for. And given Toronto with their scarce picks in this draft, they want to make their picks count. This is definitely one of those players that you definitely want to grab.
Next on the clock will be the Hamilton Steelhawks. They'll be delving in to make, I think this is their third or second pick of the draft. And they will be selecting Basso Bigbers Jr., the user Sopath. I personally am a big fan of Sopath. He was my co-GM. I acquired for him. He was in law school, so he got really busy and had to dip out. Apparently law school's hard or whatever, and it takes a lot of time. But he's a really wacky bonanza of an individual, a really friendly person, puts a lot of effort in everything he does, and he's a great addition to a locker room and team. If he stays earning, it's going to be a top tier pick for Hamilton at this point, and I'm just excited to see him back in the league, and I hope it goes real well for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Had a really solid season as a center. A smaller role, he did a really great season, 14 goals, 29 assists. And, it's just really great for Detroit, another really solid pick, because they've got quite a few players in this draft who put up really solid seasons. And certainly a lot of teams took notice. There were a lot of scouts in Detroit for this season, and Hamilton was one of them.
In 28, the Stampede are back at the clock. They'll be selecting the user Egregious, Peter. Peter, coming from the Quebec City Citadels, I believe is a longtime VHLer. Had a decent player in the VHL. He's not looking to do like every single task, but he wants to make a solid player while still maintaining a little casual. Should be a good fit for Buffalo as they're looking to add a bulk of talent in future drafts as well as this one. And he should have an excellent role moving forward on the team as he progresses as player.
Yeah, Quebec was really impressed by his production level. Certainly in extended time for 11 goals, 35 assists, really solid on both ends of the ice in terms of offense and defense with that 55 Corsi 4. He's definitely going to be a player to watch in the SHL and obviously the SMJHL. They're really excited to see what he can do next season.
But the next pick on the clock will be pick 29 with the Tampa Bay Barracuda. They will be delving into. Oh, that's not the pick. Yeah, that's not the pick. You're one early.
I always remember with these kind of events, I always like to say Occam Razor.
Yeah, it'll be Nicholas Corrigan, the user Scottish Eyebrow. Definitely in the running for most unique Discord pick for this draft. Scottish Eyebrow is a friendly individual. He's a good guy. We had a decent scouting conversation. I think he's gonna be a good fit for Tampa. And DK knows how to maximize like getting the most out of people. He's a very understanding person and understand life comes first and try to help you achieve your goals in the SHL while not, maybe burning yourself out or trying to put too much pressure on you. So I think it's gonna be a really good environment for him to thrive in and work with the Barracuda moving forward.
Absolutely. Really solid right winger on that third line for Anchorage this season, and looking to probably bring a greater commitment next year and really produce, because it's definitely a part of his game that he's looking to improve on next season. And all signs point to him being a big part of Anchorage next year.
And next on the clock, we will have the Seattle Argonauts. This will be their second pick in the second round after none of the first. But Eddie will be selecting Gordon McFisherface, the user KDR. They're an active user. Seemed really polite and friendly in the scouting conversation. We had a bit of a mix up where they messaged me something that was meant for someone else. But I think it's going to be like getting an active user at 30 in most drafts isn't something that usually happens. So it's going to be a really solid pick for the Argonauts. I think they have to be very pleased with this pick.
Yeah, a really solid two-way forward for Quebec this year, with 16 minutes. Really solid to get a 50-plus Corsi 4. And obviously, you don't worry too much about offense, but it's certainly coming for McFisherman moving forward with Quebec. We should see those stats come up.
And this will bring Tampa Bay back on the clock at 31. The Barracuda will be selecting nobody, not passing. They'll be taking the user nobody. The player, no, this is Patrick. Nobody's been around for a long time. He's beloved mostly for his username, but he's a real fun, friendly guy to have in the locker room. Should be a very solid pick for Tampa. And like I said, DK knows how to maximize what people want out of the site, so I think he's going to be able to get the most out of nobody in this endeavor.
Absolutely, yeah. Played a really impressive role for Kelowna in his freshman season. Obviously, 17 minutes as a right-handed defenseman as a rookie. That's pretty credible. And he had a really solid season, 52.4 Corsi 4, and put up 21 points. It's a really solid performance and something to build on as he moves forward in his career in Kelowna and now headed to Tampa Bay.
And at pick 32, the Toronto North Stars will be on the clock again. And the North Stars will be selecting Anthony Simmons III, the user Starchy Chaff, sorry. I didn't get to talk much with them, but they look like an interesting pick for the North Stars. Excited to see how the career develops as they move on from some of the older players that are cycling through the roster, and there will be roles opening up in the near future as they develop out of their J career.
Absolutely. No goals yet for this player, but obviously it is coming because they played a really solid role for San Diego. Obviously, there's some freshman growing pains with his play, but again, just a really solid player with a ton of potential and a really good bank. He'll look to earn solid and become a member of Toronto.
And at 33, the Buffalo Stampede are back on the clock. And the Buffalo Stampede will be selecting Icy Breaks the SHL, the player Hannah Crowder. Coming from the Newfoundland Berserkers, they were a solid member of the locker room, contributing some excellent conversation, earning a decent amount of TP. Should be a great pick for the Stampede, as they've added in a ton of new users from this class.
Absolutely, and played a sheltered role in Newfoundland, but really stepped into her own over the course of the season, being a critical piece to their puzzle moving forward. And as they move up the roster moving forward, expect those offensive numbers to really come into their own. Um, Absolutely looks like a great player for Buffalo.
But we will have back-to-back Minnesota picks on the clock. First, they will be selecting Dog Yager, the user Cody K. I believe they had a previous player here that may not have panned out, but they are an active user. I believe they're a member of the PBE and fairly active there. And who wouldn't want a little Yager on your team? So always fun to bring that in.
Absolutely, and plus another dog pick, and obviously something to look after the first overall pick. Certainly had a year to build on, so it'll be interesting to see how their career moves forward. Obviously, Great Falls expects big things from them, and obviously, really looking forward to see them alongside Czechia in the IHF competitions coming up.
Yeah, I mean, the movie Air Bud really did pave the way for a lot of these dogs to join the world of sports, even if it's simulated.
Totally, it's all about representation in this league, and certainly if you can get your face out there, everyone's going to be all large ears and paws and all like that.
But Minnesota will be selecting again on the board. They will be taking Grant Bird, the user, the hockey pro. This is the brother of the mysterious fish. He'll be coming into the league. He's been pretty active in the Discord. Excited to see where his future takes him. And nothing wrong with adding a goalie in Minnesota, as you are the professional at goaltender utilization in the SHL, from what I've heard.
Absolutely. Look forward to really solid numbers in a really quality role in Regina. And so, obviously, with the emphasis in Minnesota being on developing goalies into basically what they can accomplish with either limited or an expanded view on their TP totals, then certainly getting a guy who had 6 shutouts in the season is certainly going to look good for Minnesota fans.
And yes, Seattle will be on the clock at pick 36. And they will be selecting their GM. It'll be Campbell Fisherman, the user Eddie E. Fisherman. Uh, I can't say enough good things about Eddie. He's a fantastic user, really, really good guy, patient. He's going to do great things in Seattle. He's got a great core to work with, Shadow Phoenix, Volta, Squid, just some excellent people there, as well as acquiring Simo. I think they've got a great thing going on there. I'm excited to see where they're going with it, and yeah, you got to pick yourself, but he's doing he's a great job over there, and I just wanted to give him a little
Yeah,
shout out.
absolutely. And I thank you for the compliments. But as for the player, had a really good offensive season, 17 goals, 33 assists. And in sheltered time, he was really solid for Colorado. And obviously, Tack saw something there with that player. And mid-second round pick, it definitely worked out for them. And it'll be exciting to see what he accomplishes in his second season.
And pick 37 will be a pass. So we will move on from that one. Heading back to the Tampa Bay Barracuda at pick 38. And they will be selecting Hades. The user Hades is not good. Sorry, Hades is good. My apologies. Heading to the Tampa Bay Barracuda. They were active, excited to watch the draft today on the rookie Discord. Some great energy coming from them. And like I said, DK is a master at maximizing individuals like this, who may have fallen through the cracks, but show a lot of potential in terms of activity, into turning them into great SHL players. So I think Tampa Bay is a fantastic fit for this user, and they're going to have a potential great great career in front of them.
Absolutely. A solid two-way presence for Regina. 7 goals, 22 assists, and really solid zone time. I think certainly that Regina is going to expect more from them next season as they move up the lineup and into greater roles. And obviously, I do have to agree that Hades is a really solid game.
But at 39 and 40, we will have the Texas Renegades with their first selections on the clock. Cap and Cooper and Antique running a great ship over there. They made the finals, went up 3-1, but unfortunately fell 3 consecutive games to New England. But it was a fantastic run on their end, and excited to see what their future holds. But a great roster they've put together, and amazing show by two. Like Cooper is one of the nicest people I've ever met on the site. He recently took over the SHL Awards head, and Antique's a real gem of a Habs fan as well. But they will be selecting balls. It's time. Chris McZero the third, the user Chris McZero, heading to Texas. I believe he owns 2 Hall of Fame players. He's had absolute dynamo of players. His last player didn't really pan out as he kind of went MA on it. But if you're looking purely at the player side, he's a great selection. Brings a unique energy that only Chris McZero could bring. And he's going to be fitting in with a Texas locker room, and hoping that it all pans out moving forward.
Yes, definitely a really solid earner and good bank, but absolutely had a really solid season with 23 points. Obviously, had a lot to do in the offensive zone for Anchorage, and obviously deployment a bit of a struggle time with struggle in the other zone. Obviously, 36.2 Corsi 4 will improve as Anchorage moves him up the lineup, but a really solid player and a really good person.
And at pick 40, the user Slime, the player Havike. I'm not even going to pretend I know how to pronounce that. Heading to the Renegades. Again, earning at this point is, you're going to get some people on the lower end, maybe with questionable banks, but it's looking like a real interesting pick for the Renegades at this juncture. Hopefully they'll be able to help them turn around the career. Maybe get that bank building up. The TP's decent, not amazing, but at this point of the draft, it's a really solid, gamble to take and getting that SHL career going.
Absolutely, and really solid offensive performance for him this season. Certainly, Texas looking to find some offensive players with this draft, especially centers. One, obviously, who can play that two-way role, and one that would want to step into that, but obviously, if that's not something that Chris wants to do, then he just won't.
And we're on the clock at pick 42 with the Buffalo Stampede. We'll be selecting. But yes, the Buffalo Stampede at pick 42, selecting the user Max to best, the player Anatoly Tarasov. This user is very young, but there has been some, some moments where you kind of hope they can learn from in the future. But if they can learn from that, they do a lot of coding, so they might be able to help with the dev team. Uh, Very excitable, a lot of energy, but a lot of growing to hopefully be part of the SHL moving forward. And I know Vandy's a big guy, and helping people learn and accepting and understanding. So it's going to be hopefully a really great fit on the Stampede.
Obviously, the player, really solid season, 20 points, and played a pretty big role for Quebec this season. Obviously, they're going to be looking for more offensive production out of them this coming season, and he'll definitely play another big role as really, really solid two-way player.
But yes, Montreal passed at 41, which is why 41 was skipped. I forgot to mention that. But we're at 43, and the Argonauts are selecting. But the Seattle Argonauts will be selecting Ty Justice, the user Justice. The bank is there. The TP is kind of there. The problem is that Justice kind of trails off every time. He'll have a player for about 2 seasons and usually give it up. But if he could turn that around, he's a really fun guy to talk to. He brings a lot of energy. He's good to have in the locker room. You surround him with the right pieces, and you roll the dice. You might be able to get a Yahtzee, whatever it's called. I don't gamble. Yeah, nothing wrong with Justice here. You just hope you can keep him interested in earning, and it can end up being a steal of a pick for you.
Absolutely. Really solid offensive season, but really a really incredible two-way player for Maine this season. Obviously, 17 minutes of ice time, not expecting too much offense, and yet he still contributed 9 goals, 17 assists, and a really solid plus 18 and a 56 Corsi 4. That's a really solid production from a rookie player. So we'll look to see more from him, and if he can keep that up and definitely make this his player to stick around, Seattle will definitely have themselves sorry or whatever board games. I'm not. It's really.
Next on the board, 44 will be a passive selection leading to the Calgary Dragons selecting. So that the Dragons will be on the board. They will be taking Bastilleed, the Dragons Bastilleed, the user K-Dub, heading to the Dragons. I don't have too much information on this player, but at this point of the draft, you're taking long shots on people you might have information about. So you might know, they're active in a certain spot talking. They just don't know how the site works and they want to figure out earning or something of that nature. You have some information. I think you can make an educated gamble and try to take a shot on people and see if you can spit it around. But at this point, we're looking at like 229 TP. So it's definitely a user that needs help earning, learning the site if they're still active and interested. and hopefully the Calgary can help turn them around in that endeavor.
Absolutely. And with Calgary and Kelowna committing to that, what they get is a really solid two-way player. Obviously, offense not coming as quickly with 4 points, with 4 goals and 10 assists. But beyond that, played really well and a lot of minutes played for a first-time rookie player. Kelowna definitely impressed with what they saw, and it's definitely something to build on.
This will bring Winnipeg on the clock. They'll be selecting at pick 46. And they'll be taking the player Christoph Kovalev. The user is Nefarious. Yeah, they've got a decent sized bank at 7.8 million, but again, the TP is a very low start coming from Nevada. So they might have some intel from Jess that this person is active. Just need some help with working on the earning and getting through there. So maybe they've got a potential steal in their hands, something that they can help earn and mold, which would be great for them. But at this point of the draft, we're taking some long shot gambles. And Winnipeg thinks this is the best gamble on the board.
Absolutely. Nefarious comes from the same GM Sim League school as Shawnee and myself, so we're very familiar with the player. Obviously, in a really solid two-way season this year for Nevada. 6 goals, 32 assists, and 55 Corsi 4 on the season for 18 minutes played. Just, I know Nevada couldn't be happier with what they got out of this player in this first season, and Winnipeg definitely saw that as well. So really solid pick for Winnipeg, as long as the user can keep up and be sure that they earn.
The Hamilton Steelhawks will be on the clock next at 47. And they will be selecting Peanut Butter Zamboni. These are Scud Muffin. Scud is a polarizing figure. He'll have periods where he's an affable, lovable member of the locker room. He made a great goalie in SFP who did excellent there. There are the instances that happen, like sometimes the Thunderdomes, even if the Thunderdome is dead. But when Scud is on in an environment he likes, he's a really great person to have around. And I'm hoping that the Hamilton locker room is one that's for him, and he gets to enjoy the SHL and have a great time there. Excited for them to join Hamilton and hopefully have a great time.
Absolutely. Anchorage and Hamilton certainly both looking to balance out their locker rooms and be sure that they have the users available to make risks like that possible and create mindsets where it'll be easy for them to consider having a player like them. And obviously, he'll be a solid contributor for Anchorage for next season. It'll be interesting to see what Hamilton gets out of this pick.
So 48 will be a pass, bringing us to Toronto at 49. And they will be selecting Bodie Echo, the user Afterglow. Again, the earning on this player is not ideal, but at this point of the draft, you're taking educated gamble. So 248 TP, it's not horrible. They've got a decent sized bank. They are active on Discord. You're hoping you can help them adjust to the SHL levels of money earning and become a long term contributor on your team. And you take a gamble like this and hope it pays off and put in your work with the individual to try to help them as best you can.
Absolutely. And A really solid season for them. Obviously, as we get back to the draft, you're going to get the usual 20 or so plus points, or a plus or minus single digit, but a really solid Corsi 4. And he did that in a really meaningful time with Ottawa. And obviously, we saw what they did in this season. So the sky's the limit for a player like Echo.
50 will be sorry, no, 50 will not be a pass. We just ordered it weird. DK loves messing with our brains. But the Barracuda will be on the clock for 50 and 51. At 51, actually, they'll be still. So we'll do the reverse order. But 51, they'll be selecting something not catchy. The player Harry Fairchild, from the Kelowna Knights. 5.1 million in the bank, 238 TPE. Taking a gamble on that mix of some earning at some point happened with some money left in the bank. Might be able to, mold them into an SHL player. You throw darts at the board, some of them will hit, and hopefully this is one of them.
Absolutely. A really solid season for Kelowna. And obviously, they were really happy with what they got at the 37th overall pick. And now with Tampa Bay, you sort of see sort of what Kelowna saw. Really solid player, was able to play really well in a larger role than you would consider for a first-time player. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes.
All right, and one sec.
And it looks to be that New Orleans will be making no picks in this draft, obviously, as they have passed, which puts Hamilton back on the board. Or, yeah.
Yeah, and Hamilton will be selecting the player Johnny Fox. The user Joe Jeff, coming from the Carolina Kraken. Joe Jeff has been active. He's been I believe he's a World Junior GM this season for Team USA, blue or white. I don't know the colors. But he is a personality. Definitely someone who's going to bring some interesting times to your locker room, and he's definitely active. So you should be able to help him there with making the player. And yeah, fun pick by the Steelhawks for sure.
Absolutely. He played a small role this year in the SMJHL, but again, users that interact and become WJC GMs, it's certainly a stepping stone to greater things, as one might attest. And the player really saw it a limited role, so Carolina will look to see what he can give next season.
And the next pick will be a pass at 52. Sorry, nope. It'll be 54. The Minnesota Monarchs on the clock. And selected will be Johanna Krakow, the user Engelmary. This user was the top waiver wire pickup by UConn. Demanded out a trade the day after. Ended up in Ottawa. The earning is kind of tapered off a bit. I don't know if there's much on the server, but the Monarchs are taking a gamble. I don't know if you can speak more to it, Eddie.
Yeah, I think certainly with newer users or users that have trouble with player movement, it's certainly can put the damper on some players' enjoyment of the league. And obviously, what we saw with how they were able to play moving forward and what Ottawa did in the playoffs, we think it's an interesting risk to take. To have a player like Angel Murray, and obviously they played significant time, so we're excited to see what Ottawa has on their hands and whether or not they're able to take back some of that enjoyment that they had.
But at 55, the Los Angeles Panthers will be on the clock, and the return of a franchise icon. It'll be Fuzz, the player Felix Carlson, headed back to the Panthers after the title. Stepped away from GMing. He's taken a bit of a break from the SHL, which is hence the showing the precipitous drop. However, just has come back. He is on the Panthers and able to play there. A massive bank, an amazing user. Testament to another amazing GM who decided to uh, hang up the GMing gloves, as it were. Built a wonderful LIP roster who won a cup and what might be the most dominant playoffs in all history, and has had a long line of GMs who have fallen from his tree into excellent GMing spots. And yeah, it should be if he comes back, it's an absolute steal, and they're getting a great bargain. But if Fuzz was going anywhere, it's where he belonged in LA.
Absolutely, and just a really great selection here. Obviously, a top pick of the San Diego title, and it goes to show he had a really incredible season: 12 goals, 33 assists, and in not that much time on ice, he really contributed for a team that really impressed in their first year. And obviously, he is going to be a major piece to that team's continued success as they look towards more playoff success as they exited early. But expect to see a lot of Felix Carlson in the playoffs moving forward.
And 56 to 58 will be passes, bringing up the Renegades at pick 59. And the Renegades will be selecting the player TJ Smex, the user TJ4U. They're coming in with 247 TP and 2 million. So some earning occurred. I know they are a Discord active, so they're reachable. So Texas might be able to mold this player. They take a lot of shots on players, and some of them pans out. This is another dart that it looks fairly promising considering the draft position.
Absolutely, and sorry,
Yeah,
they had a really solid season. Obviously, offense was there, 18 goals, 15 assists, and was really counted on for key minutes. Obviously, defense is going to be something they're going to have to address moving forward, as Anchorage couldn't really count on them for defense. But again, a really solid season, something to grow on for the 15th overall pick, and Texas really liking what they see in that offensive upside.
Pick 60, the New England Wolfpack will be on the class, and for my money, I could not tell you why this player was drafted. Genuinely a nightmare locker room cancer. Contributes nothing to the site. An absolute. I think nincompoop is the word I'd probably use to describe this individual. A real jackass with pants. It'll be Jackass Pants, the user Luke. He's the GM in New England. Does a tremendous amount of things for the site. Had a lifetime achievement award named after him just for all his contributions. Uh, has had probably $1 billion in SHL money at one point, and gave away hundreds of millions because he can, and he has so much money, it's absurd. But yeah, he's selecting his own players, the GM of the Wolfpack, and should be an excellent fit for a roster that just won a cup.
Absolutely, and had a really solid season for Great Falls. 11 goals, 39 assists. Couldn't ask for more from a rookie player. But again, Luke, you stinky. That's interesting. That's an interesting question for GMs all over. Would you draft a worm?
No, would you draft Carrie if she was a worm? And I think the answer has to be yes. Like, even if Carrie isn't going to do anything on the ice, that locker room presence is worth a draft pick. Probably still like a
De-
first overall level selection.
Definitely. I think it'll be a key position.
Yeah, I think they might add worm to the hockey position. Like every team ices one worm per period.
I'd be for it.
But 61 to 64 will be passes, bring up the Calgary Dragons selection, and they will be taking Wolfgang Puck, the user Emerald, heading to the Calgary Dragons. If I'm not mistaken, this is Beth, and Beth is an absolute legend. So this is the steal of the draft. This is B Fine's wife, just a very lovely lady. She has some excellent food pictures, very friendly, very easy to talk to, very into the K-pop. If you're that's one of your proclivities and you want to talk with someone about that, but it's a great pick to have on the Dragons, and just a wonderful person.
Absolutely. And really just a solid player. Obviously, as a rookie goaltender in some situations, you're not going to get the pucks bouncing your way. But St. Louis likes what they saw. Obviously, someone they wanted to claim off waivers, and obviously they're going to play a big role in St. Louis's plans next year. So it'll be interesting to see.
And 66 will be a pass, bringing the Hamilton Steelhawks on the clock. Uh, and we'll be back to the one name players coming up. The single name player agenda alive and well in the SHL in this draft. But they will be taking the user SP Chris, the player Chris, heading to the Hamilton Steelhawks to play out a goaltending career. The bank is a little low. The earning is decent, but at negative 1.3, I definitely want to fill out that bank as soon as possible to continue earning and be a great backup or potential starter for the Steelhawks.
Absolutely. Maine loving what they're getting out of the 46th overall pick. He has just looked like a steal. 13-4-0 record, not .907 save percentage, and a shutout really mean that Maine is absolutely going to want to keep him around for as long as they can and get what they want because he's been a critical piece to their success last year and an important piece this year. Hamilton liking what they saw, and I do too.
And after that, we'll have a pass from 68 to 74, bringing the LA Panthers on the clock at pick 75. And they will be taking the player Akira Suzuki, the user Sokolik, heading to the LA Panthers. Decent amount of money in the bank at 5.3 million, but the earning is very low at 205 TP. Again, the earning at this point for players in this point of the draft, it's definitely not impossible to have an excellent player just because you haven't earned up to the J draft. Shawnee is one of the most notable proofs of these rule. He was drafted with under 200 TPE, and his player has like 1,800 TP in the SHL right now. I think he's gonna almost 2,000, might be like a 1950 at max, but you can definitely have an excellent career even if you earn next to nothing in your first season. It's definitely workable, and you don't have to stress too much about it.
Absolutely, and notable for being the third straight goalie off the board. Suzuki obviously had a solid season, 5.30 record, 8.95 save percentage, certainly above average for goalies that play that much. And rookie goalies certainly tend to have struggle. But Nevada really like what they saw last season, and it'll be interesting to see how this player grows. And if they can earn more, it'll certainly be good for Nevada. And LA, taking that flyer, wants to see that player earn more.
So we do have the tragedy of 68 to 74 ping pass, which means 69 will not be have a pick this year. A genuine tragedy, but it is what it is.
Just
will bring us to 75 for the LA Panthers on the clock, though.
Just a crying shame.
Sorry, the Calgary Dragons will be selecting at pick 85. They'll be taking Femia McLaughlin, the goaltender of UConn. Didn't really have a presence in the UConn locker room, but is a friend of Naomi out in Calgary. So they're hoping they might be able to get some earnings, some activity going as they're reunited with some friends, and hopefully, get that spark for the SHL and help them learn and understand things going on in there. Yeah, it's a long shot of a goaltender, but an educated gamble for some friends reuniting.
Absolutely. UConn wanted to see some progress from a player that really showed a lot of promise in their first SHL season, obviously at 15-13-0 record and above average save percentage and goals against. It'll be interesting to see just how the switch up and being able to be around friends will do for that player.
And 86 will be a pass, bringing up our last pick of the draft. The Hamilton Steelhawks will be selecting Icy Gas 52, the player Luigi Mario, heading to the Steelhawks. They are taking a gamble on a very famous name, Luigi Mario. But the backhand TP are quite thin, but they're hoping they can turn that around and turn them into a player.
Absolutely. Had a solid season. No points that really strike out, but again, Carolina liking what they're seeing to take a flyer on a player. And certainly there will be a lot of Carolina fans who are happy to see him go to a team, and they'll be jumping up and down saying Yahoo.
But yeah, that will be all for our S78 SHL Entry Draft. Thanks to all you nerds who actually listened to the end. Looking at you, Kari and Jove Hove. Yeah, thanks so much for listening. I hope you all enjoy the places you got drafted, and you have a wonderful SHL career ahead of you. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Absolutely. Good luck to all of you, and have a good rest of your day.